I request the delegates to kindly take your seats. मेरा अनुरोध है जितने भी लोग और वॉलंटियर्स हॉल के बीच में सभागार के बीच में खड़े हैं वो कृपया साइड में चले जाएं. I request all the volunteers and the delegates who are standing in the middle here to kindly move to the side. As we await the arrival of the Congress President, it's a warm welcome to each one of you here, each one who fights to defend the Constitution. I request the delegates to take their seats and to please free the pathways right here. मैं सम्मानित delegates
विश्व में ये समूह फोर्स मल्टीप्लायर होता है. इस वर्ग के हर एक व्यक्ति में शक्ति है कि न्यूनतम 1000 लोगों को प्रभावित करे. यह सिर्फ संयोग नहीं है कि 1885 में कांग्रेस के पहले अध्यक्ष और पहले अधिवेशन की अध्यक्षता की थी वोमेश चंद्र बनर्जी ने, जो एक सफल वकील थे. हमारी पूंजी, हमारी जीएनपी गांधी नेहरू पटेल का सबका कानून से बहुत निकट संबंध रहा है. हमारे स्वतंत्रता संग्राम की हर कड़ी जुड़ी है इन तबकों से. राजेंद्र प्रसाद जी से लेके बाबा साहेब अंबेडकर, राजगोपालाचारी साहब से लेकर लाला लाजपत राय, मदन मोहन मालवीय से लेकर सीआर दास, और आपको जिनको रोचन इंटरेस्ट हो, अगर आप रुचि हो तो देखिए मोतीलाल नेहरू के इनकम टैक्स रिटर्न्स 1920 और 30 के. वो हिंदुस्तान के सबसे सफल वकील थे जिनका योगदान, वो प्रिवी काउंसिल जाया करते थे बहस करने, उनका योगदान स्वतंत्रता संग्राम में कितना रहा है. I stand before you not just as a lawyer or a parliamentarian, but I stand before you as a deeply concerned citizen of the Republic of India. A republic born out of dreams dreamt during the darkest nights of colonial oppression. A republic scripted not merely on paper, but in blood, sweat and tears of our freedom fighters. A republic whose constitutional soul today stands tested, tarnished and threatened. The title of today's event, Constitutional Challenges, Perspectives and Pathways, could not be more timely, more urgent or more consequential. For the truth is bitter but unavoidable. We are living through a moment where the Constitution is not merely ignored, it is being twisted into a tool of domination. The very values that gave us democratic breath, liberty, fraternity, equality, justice, are all now gasping for air. Let me remind this august gathering that the Constitution of India is not an administrative manual. It is a moral mission. It is not just a legal contract between citizens and the state. It is the living, beating heart of our democracy. And in crafting of this magnificent document, the Congress party did not merely play a role. We were its very womb. It was the Indian National Congress that envisioned it, enabled it, and enacted it through the vision of Nehru, the resolve of Patel, the intellect of Ambedkar, and of course, above all, the moral compass of Gandhi. Let it be recorded without hesitation or humility that the Congress party is the constitutional conscience keeper of this country. It was Congress that translated freedom into rights, agitation into administration, and revolution into institutions. It was the Congress that gave India the stirring words of our preamble, the directive principles, universal adult franchise. It was the Congress that made India a democracy not just in word or form, but in spirit. And today it must fall again to the Congress to protect, preserve, and if necessary, revive the soul of the Constitution. But friends, what exactly is the challenge we face today? The challenge is not simply one of bad governance or poor economics. It is a deeper, more insidious crisis, the deliberate dismantling of constitutional values under the garb of electoral majority. The Constitution has checks and balances. They are being replaced, unfortunately, with checks spelled CHEQUES and bulldozers. The Constitution has rights and remedies. The ruling dispensation offers us raids and rhetoric. The Constitution speaks of liberty. They weaponize loyalty. This is not governance. This is the gaslighting of the Republic. जब लोकतंत्र को सिर्फ वोट तक सीमित कर दिया जाए और संविधान को सिर्फ एक प्रतीक बना दिया जाए, तब समझ लीजिए कि खतरा कागजों से निकलकर नियतों में घुस गया है. Consider this alarming landscape. Governors today act like glorified agents of the ruling party, not constitutional umpires. Speakers suspend opposition en masse but remain mute when ruling party members breach decorum. Investigative agencies are now enforcers of vendetta. The judiciary, with a few honorable exceptions, far too often whispers when it should roar. The balance of power has tilted into an abyss, and constitutional silences are being exploited with constitutional impunity. We must reflect, how did we reach here? And more importantly, how do we reclaim our republic? First, we must stop pretending that this is business as usual. What we are witnessing is not a mere aberration. It is a design, a calculated, organized design. This is not a temporary deviation. It is an ideological project. The project is simple: to convert democracy into dominance, pluralism into polarity, and the Constitution into a convenience. The ruling regime has perfected the art of constitutional mimicry, where they use the language of the Constitution to undermine its very essence. They hold elections but erode institutions. They appoint judges but question judicial independence. They sing Vande Mataram but jail young voices. They lay claim to Ambedkar but bulldoze the very rights he stood for. They quote Ambedkar at dawn and crush his dream by dusk. This is not nationalism. It is narrative warfare. देश से प्रेम का मतलब ये नहीं कि सरकार से सवाल न हो. देशभक्ति का मतलब ये नहीं कि हक की आवाज दबा दी जाए. और संविधान का मतलब ये नहीं कि वो सिर्फ सरकारी किताब बन जाए. As a constitutional lawyer, I can tell you this. A democracy dies only when tanks roll out. Not only when tanks roll out, I'm sorry. It dies when institutions cave in. When constitutional functionaries become partisan puppets. When media becomes a megaphone, not a mirror. When courts begin to delay what they dare not deny. When dissent is sedition, protest is provocation, and every question is anti-national. You know then that the Republic is on a ventilator. We must also address this farce of federalism, and we have a session today on federalism in the afternoon. The centre today treats states not as partners in progress, but as colonies of compliance. Schemes are launched without consultation. Funds are withheld with political bias. Elected governments are overthrown through money, muscle, and manipulation. This is not cooperative federalism. It is coercive federalism wrapped up as propaganda. So what is the pathway ahead? We are also supposed to talk of pathways today. It must begin with political courage and constitutional clarity. We must reclaim Parliament not as a place for paper bills, but as a theatre of true debate. We must demand from our judiciary not just interpretation, but intervention. We must protect the media not by controlling it, but by freeing it from fear and favor. And above all, we must connect the Constitution to the common man. The Constitution cannot remain the concern of lawyers and academics alone. It must become the lived experience of every farmer, every woman, every student, every worker. And this is what Rahul Gandhi has talked about time and again. Rights are not meant to be read. They are meant to be realized. It is the duty of the Congress party to ensure that from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, from Kutch to Kohima, every Indian feels the pulse of the preamble. Let me say this with clarity. The fight to save the Constitution is not a legal battle alone. It is a moral struggle. And it is the time we fought it. It is time now to fight it, not with caution, but with conviction. Not with whispers in drawing rooms, but with roars on the street. Not just through statements, but through sustained satyagraha. This is not a moment to lament. It is a moment to lead. Let our message from this particular event today be loud and clear. We will not allow this constitutional coup to succeed. We will not allow India to become a nation of one voice, one party, one ideology. India is not a painting in monochrome. It is a mural of many millions.